What's up, YouTube and all the technicians out there, beginners, amateurs, drivewayers, just learning. So how I became more of an efficient technician. Well, in this business, we get paid by the hour, so the more hours you get, the more money you make, especially if you're flat rate. So, for one, experience brings that, and two is having the right tools. So it depends on the job that I'm doing, would be the choice of tools that I would bring to the job. So I'm doing an exhaust manifold in a Toyota Tundra. I'm gonna bring a whole 3/8 complete swivel socket set because I can get to almost anything with that. And they're swivel for one reason. I'm not gonna take a lot of stuff apart, and I wanna be able to angle and wiggle and jiggle my tools in there to work fast. I'm not going to use any hand tools unless it's absolutely necessary, and that would be last resort. So my choice today is going to be a 3/8 air gun on the manifold side, and then on the bottom side I'm going to use a 1/2-inch gun once I get to that. So first thing first is I'm pulling both the tires off and I'm setting them to the side. So whatever I do on the left side of the vehicle, as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to go to the right side of the vehicle and do the same thing. So tires off, penetrator on everything, your socket set, your choice of tool, which is going to be an air gun for me. And if you don't have an air gun, you can use an electric gun or a cordless gun. So whatever bolt you're going to do on this side, let's say this is a 10 millimeter here, you got 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 10 millimeter bolts off, get the shield out of the way. That's how this process is going to be. And it could be way more complex than this because this isn't a new car. It's way old and everything's rotten. So once that's done, you're going to kind of figure out what your experience is going to be on the next side of the vehicle if the shield's there. So you do the same process over there, all the bolts off. If you have any issues, you kind of know your way to get around them or what you're going to do, or if you're going to need a strip socket. So at that point, I would go to my strip socket set. If I experienced some stripped out stuff here, and if I don't experience stripped out stuff here, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to experience it on the other side. How about that? Someone did a ball joint or a control arm and never put a cotter pin back in. It wasn't me. So then once the shields are off, you're going to go at the 14 millimeters on the manifolds. You're going to know what swivel works, what extension's going to work. I'm going to suspect I'm going to need a super long extension at first, and it depends on how tight they are. I may have to get a ratchet to break them loose or shorten up my extension so I have more torque. So once I get to all these bolts on this side, you can take them all off. So back and forth, get these bolts out and go to the other side and get them out. I'm not going to start there. I just wanted to get the shields off first, and then what I'm going to do underneath the car is go at these bolts here, get them all off on the flanges, which you can't see. So I'm going to get them off first, get all the manifold and cylinder head bolts off, and then slide the manifolds out at that point. But my moral of the story was that's going to be way more efficient for whoever's doing a job, because if you just spend all your time on this side, disassemble on this, you're not really going to know what you're going to encounter on the other side. So that's why I like to go back and forth, even if I'm doing a brake job. I know all the tools that I need to disassemble this side. So if you're pulling out a 14 millimeter, remove your 14 millimeter bolts from this side. Sometimes there's more than one different size. The caliper bolt, the bridge bolt. So 14, 17, we'll just say. 17, 14, who cares? Once you get those loose, go to the other side, pull those 14, 17s. You need an impact driver. Figure out what it is, grab it, do this side, do that side, and then everything's apart. And if you have a problem on the other side, say you missed the caliper, or you didn't realize that it had a torn dust boot, or whatever the case may be, at that point, you're so early in the job that you can order what you need or tell your service writer, hey, I need another part, contact the customer, blah, 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 blah. Thanks for watching.